getting breaking updates from the High Court hearing regarding the Karur Stampede. TVK's side has told the court that the FIR mentions that General Secretary Anand and the TP Secretary were given advice, but what advice was given was not mentioned. Raghavachari has accused police of having failed to provide adequate protection. Raghavachari has said that venue was not selected by the petitioners, and this is a sinister motive. And he said that if Velusayampuram was objectionable, the police should have rejected the petitioner's request. Pramod Madhav is live with me on this story. Pramod, the TVK saying that it is the cops who did not take the right decision. They allowed the rally to happen. They did not look into the logistical concerns. What more do we know, Pramod?
Well, certainly, Anisha. Right now, as we are speaking, it is the TVK's counsel that is arguing on the court. And just like you mentioned, they are trying to say that the police have to be more preemptive and such kind of decisions, excuse me, must be taken. In fact, what the court is the Busi Anand's petition is being heard right now. And in this counsel is very clearly mentioning that Velusayampuram, if they knew there was going to be an issue like that, it could have been changed. And they also claim that there were certain kind of antisocial elements present over there about throwing chemicals and such. Because earlier also, TVK tried to claim that chappals were thrown, stones were thrown, lathi charge was there. That turned the crowd into a frenzy way, and that caused an issue. However, the legals, the government on the other end very clearly wants to say that a certain number was earlier predicted, it was given, and only then the permission was provided over there. So the government is yet to actually give their version of what exactly happened over there. But right now, the government has also very clearly stated that as Busi Anand was an MLA earlier, it has to be moved to be another different court. But all these hearings, as we speak, is proceeding in Madras High Court, Madri Bench, Anisha.
All right, Pramod, as you said, the hearing is currently going on, and the issue that really is that the TVK senior lawyer is saying that the entire responsibility for managing this crowd was of the state, that the police did not do their job adequately. The TVK counsel is blaming the police and the state squarely. What exactly do we know? What more do we know about the hearing that is going on, Pramod? Has there been any response, any rejoinder arguments from the state?
Anisha. Well, Anisha, we have a very important observation from the court as we speak. Apparently, the judge has asked the leader of the party, that is Joseph Vijay, fled from the scene of occurrence, vanished. That is a very important point that was also placed by the, even while speaking, Kanimori speaking to us, she actually used the term flee. The leader of the party fled from the situation, for which later Vijay gave an explanation stating that he didn't want to be on the location just to make sure that the situation does not turn much worse. But right now, it looks like the court has also expressed its anguish over Vijay leaving the spot, and also has the court also expresses anguish over the police inaction against him. So these are very important observations from the court. It is definitely going to resonate, because earlier also questions started. People have started asking questions why his name was not attached in the FIR, because we have Madhi Aragan, the district secretary, the general secretary Busi Anand, and CTR Nirmal Kumar, a second level, a very important leader from Tamil Nadu Vetrikaragam. All their names are there except for Joseph Vijay. And when we put forward this question to DMK, they said that after the one-man commission's report, that this action would be taken on it. But it looks like now such questions are also being raised by the court, Anisha.
All right, Pramod, clearly the court also asking certain questions about the responsibilities and the role of the senior leader, the questioning whether the organizers why should the organizers not be held responsible. But as you said, the hearing is currently going on. We will be getting more and more updates about what is actually going on inside the court. But if you can take our viewers through what has happened so far, Pramod, what are the arguments that have been raised? What are the observations by the court so far?
Well, Anisha, a very important aspect is that the counsel for Busi Anand Raghavachari, just like you mentioned, the actual team wanted to blame for the responsibility of the police in this particular matter, starting with why such a location was given, and also claiming that if such a crowd was going to come over there, why it was not handled properly. In a way, putting all the kind of blame and everything for whatever happened over there on the police. Already we have explanation given by the government, and where ADGP Devasirvadam Davidson Devasirvadam very clearly mentioned that they actually went ahead and sought locations that were not presumably good spots for holding such a program. In fact, one location had a water body close by and a petrol bunk, and considering that if the crowd becomes uncontrollable, the situation would have been extremely bad, and that's the reason they said that this was a place where, as per their prediction, 10,000 people can easily stand. So that's why it was given as a place. And the police also claimed, though it has not been given, said in the court yet. Earlier, the police claimed, and also we saw in the FIR, that Vijay's team, especially Busi Anand and Nirmal Kumar, were informed that the crowd is becoming uncontrollable, and they requested Vijay's vehicle to halt 50 meters ahead of the spot, because one large crowd was coming along with Vijay's vehicle that actually started compressing the crowd over here. But the FIR claims that they did not listen, and they were adamant that the vehicle must come to the spot. Only then they will get coverage, and that's the reason this has occurred. This was an explanation that was given earlier, but presumably these explanations will be provided in the court once the turn of the government's counsel comes over. Anisha.
Well, Pramod, during his arguments, Senior Advocate Raghavachari has also said that the permission was granted just one day before the event, and if there had been more time and if alternate locations had been suggested, then they would have taken that option. But he is claiming that not even a single regulation imposed by the police was breached by the organizers. So clearly, the organizers making it clear that it is not their fault, the organizers, that is the argument that they are taking. But the Madras High Court, as you just mentioned, questioned why the party chief has fled. So we're also seeing a lot of questions that were asked about the conduct of the police and the organizers. If you can take us through what the court observations have been so far about the issue that is before them.
Well, Anisha, as we mentioned earlier, the proceedings are still on, and only the Vijay's team, especially Busi Anand's lawyer, is actually currently arguing over their post, which the lawyer of the government counsel will initiate their arguments in the court. But for now, it only looks like TVK and Busi Anand especially want to say that the inaction by the police and not taking preemptive steps was a reason, just like you mentioned, starting with giving us the point or a place for a location for them to go ahead and have the program. In fact, earlier, I can clearly say, because earlier there was a press meet that was held by government officials, including Amuda IAS and Davidson Devasirvadam, where they gave step-by-step explanation to all these allegations which were already placed by TVK earlier, of which they said 5 places were actually sought permission by TVK, but considering the crowd's capability and capacity, it was not provided, and the last location was next to a petrol bunk at a water body, and only then this location was placed. Not just that, Anisha, this not yet been placed in the court yet, but the explanation was given earlier that this is the same spot where earlier Edappadi K. Palaniswamy, the LOP of Tamil Nadu, conducted his program 2 days ago. So the place, the police claim, is already capable of holding a larger crowd. So that's why it was given. So we are waiting for the government counsel, what they are going to say as rebuttal to all these arguments in the court, Anisha.
All right, Pramod, stay on with me.